For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of USC's 11th practice of spring. It was a full pads day for USC, and I thought it was an interesting practice. Bryan Ellis, the quarterback's coach, was out because him and his wife are having a baby today, so congratulations to them. But Clay Helton took over as quarterback's coach, and he said he got 2.5 years of an itch to be the quarterback coach again out on the quarterbacks. They were worked hard, and I thought the offense definitely did specific things. They worked on new things that we haven't seen, some screens, stuff like that. Very situational today where we hadn't really seen that before in spring camp.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing they're going to have to go to. I think with these quarterbacks, I mean, you're not, we're not talking about, guys with just absolutely knock you dead arms. Yeah. They're going to have to create situations. They're going to have to get the ball. They're going to probably have to, fool you a little bit. I thought we saw more screen passes thrown today than all of last year at practice, maybe all the last couple of years. They really worked at it. They did a lot of different, screens. They screened, guys in motion. They screened tight ends coming back. They had, throwback screens, interior screens. I thought I like that. I like they're doing more counteraction where it's not just obvious whatever direction they're going, that's the direction they're going. We haven't seen that as much either. So I think those were some positive signs. I think it's really hard to get some stuff going against this defense. I mean, they had a nice throwback screen to a tight end, and Porter Gustin is just all over it. With Uchenna, batting the ball down. And got a head of steam. And Porter said, yeah, I could throw the ball down in high school in basketball. He could dunk it, and he got, I don't know that I've ever seen him, jump that high, but he bats the ball, and here comes Tufele, a 320-pound, flying, football player, and picks it off, good hands, and runs it the other way for a pick six. So they're making it hard on him, but I thought the offense at least made the defense work really hard. They did score once or twice on balls that where they really fooled them on a Josh Fallow throwback to the tight end. We saw more balls go to the tight ends than we've seen in a while. So I think there was some progress, and they're throwing the ball to they've got two running backs who 215 pounds, Vavai Malapai and Cedric Ware, who both catch the ball really well. So again, giving you some misdirection and getting the ball. It's like a long handoff when you throw it, to one of those guys on a swing pass or a little quick screen. And I like that. I just hope they keep moving in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tufele pick six was definitely the best moment of practice. The whole defense just erupted and ran down because it was in this end zone, and he ran all the way to this end zone. Tufele said he was definitely tired after running that way, but it was definitely a united defense that was having fun. But I definitely think it was the first day we saw progress, noticeable progress from the offense, not to take a shot at them, but I think during the final team period, the offense definitely had an upper hand on the defense at first, and then the defense kind of recognized that and then sprung into gear. But I thought that was an interesting development at practice.
Yeah, that was a good coaching move because they were giving them a little bit of an advantage because they were trying to trick them a little bit, but they really worked on it before they did it, and they were hitting them quick, and they were, getting the ball to Josh Fowler quick release tight end. He's a tough cover. Big guy, 6'6", kid that can run. That's a tough cover for any defense, even one, that's got the athletes that this one has. So I thought they did a good job of putting pressure on the defense. We haven't seen that much this year, and I thought the defense responded really well. I mean, that's kind of the way you want to come out of a practice with. The offense made progress. The offense got some things done. They maybe, didn't have the ball security a couple of times that they would have liked, but they were kind of moving in the right direction, and the defense, really responded and felt like, that they got out of practice today what they wanted to get out of practice today. So on balance, I thought today's a good day.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Lockett is a guy that we mentioned before in our instant of how he's kind of proving why he was a starter before he got injured. When asked about Jonathan, Helton said that he's really making his time as a fifth-year senior. He's making his shot. You got to talk to him today. What did he have to say?
Well, I think it was interesting. The first couple of years, when he'd get thrown on the field, he laughed and he said it was because we got guys injured and they didn't have anybody else. And here I go. I remember, I'm trying to think, it was against Utah in the red, 10-yard line, and he's down there and game's on the line, and he's, like, what am I doing here? Well, now, he's a fifth-year senior coming off hip surgery that cost him all of last year. Instead of a 175-pounder, he's 185 pounds. He's stronger. He said, I'm so much more confident he can play they try to throw the fade to a big guy near him. He's already had one interception. He got to run first team some today. He's just kind of a whole different, that's what you hope for if you get a kid, gets the extra year, comes back, just has a real sense of leadership and confidence. And he was always a good athlete, as Clay talked about, had great ball skills, played both ways at Mater Dei. It was interesting. Mater Dei coach Bruce Rawlinson was here today, so that was good to see. And the guy with the backpack, he was here also as the fourth quarterback and near the quarterback drills.
Mm-hmm. JT Daniels is also talking to T. Martin a lot, so it's interesting to see what JT Daniels is picking up here at spring. But we got to talk to Clancy today, and the thing you hear from players about Clancy's defense is the longer you're in it, the easier it becomes. And it seems like it's kind of changing the way this spring is run. It seems like guys are much more comfortable, and that changes the way that it's taught.
I think two things are happening. One is, that is correct, that they don't have to worry so much about alignment and reaction to formations and all that kind of thing. That's in their head. So they're not, okay, now what do we do? And so they can coach them past that. They can coach them on technique and all the things we've talked about with the cornerbacks, where we see a refinement of technique because they can spend much more time doing that. But the other thing Clancy did say, we've simplified it a little bit because we do want them to play faster. So they're doing it both ways, and they are playing fast. I mean, this is, and I know people say, oh, they're only having success because they're going against an offense that's struggling. No, how you measure what this defense is doing is where are they on the play? Where are, what kind of penetration, what kind of, alignment, what kind of, do we have any breakdowns? What kind of communication? We're not really measuring it in terms of, and it's easy, I know, for fans to think it's all in terms of, how many yards does the offense gain? No, it's how do they play every play? And I really like the way the defense is playing every play. And their athleticism and their activity and all of the things that you can do. I mean, we're here and we get to see it. So, but don't kid yourself and say, oh, they're only looking good because the offense isn't looking all that good. And that's really not what we're doing, and it's not what we're talking about. You can just see where these guys are as a whole, what their pad level is up front, and what their body lean is, and what their takeoff is, and all that kind of thing. I think, I think this defense is. I think they're pretty pleased where the defense is right now.
Mm-hmm. As far as injury report, this Tuesday actually, sorry. Jordan Isefa, that's who I'm forgetting, injured his knee. He left with ice on his knee at the end of practice, so we didn't think it was that serious, but then come today, he has a brace on his knee, a crutch on his knee. It didn't look good, but Helton said they got lucky. I think his meniscus came out and came back in, and when that happened, he kind of tore a little bit of a ligament, not an ACL or MCL, anything like that, okay. But you take it.
I actually saw the play. They were working on an outside rush, and he got locked up with the blocker. And there was kind of that back and forth and mano a mano, and not a big twist. But all of a sudden, he made a little move, and he went to the ground. And I know, I actually was, for a year or two, a college trainer. Because we didn't have a trainer, so they needed somebody to be a trainer. My dad was a physician, a team doctor, so I kind of picked up a lot of stuff. So honestly, what I first said was, I think it's cartilage, because when you see a guy he didn't have that cut, he just had that little bit of a twist, and usually what that tells you is some of the cartilage got cut off, some of the cartilage got torn. So the cartilage gets a little jagged, and then it becomes very painful, and then he went down. And so that's what you're hoping for, because then all they got to do is go in there, with the scope and just trim up that cartilage. And so it's smooth, so it doesn't give you pain when it's sort of the pad, between your knee joint, and you just need it, smooth, and it's the best possible resolution. However, that was the biggest brace I think I've ever seen on a guy with a cartilage injury. But this way he won't have as much pain. Mm-hmm. He won't be turning and twisting. But yeah, 3 to 4 weeks, that's a really good result. You couldn't ask for a better result.
Dr. Dan giving us the prognosis. But in his place, we did see Christian Richter, who we haven't seen a lot of this spring. He got more time, and also Kanai Mauga.
Yeah, I mean, Christian is going to be a situational guy, and I think they're going to play him where he's really an advantage, to the defense. So I think when they're just kind of playing it straight, it's not necessarily the kind of thing that they feel like they have to get, because they really know what Christian can do and how smart he is, and what a good pass rusher, and what good ball skills and all that. And it's good to have, Mauga, really get the chance to. He's got so much speed. I mean, he just flies around people. So I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing to give him a chance to really get out there with the ones. I think it's a really good thing. He's one of the real eye openers as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we had heard he was a pretty good player, and we had heard some people say, yeah, he's the best player on Hawaii, which would tell you, okay, he's a pretty good player. But until you really see him, you just don't know. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, he definitely is. Helton encouraged fans to come out on Saturday for the scrimmage, which he said is going to be mainly just putting the ball down and letting the players play. He said he's really going to evaluate how they do if they're just given a chance to play. It's also swivel with Mike afterwards, so the football players will kind of be doing their little deal. I think they have a relay during that, so they'll be involved with that as well. So Helton definitely encouraged fans to come out on Saturday.
Yeah, and USC now has as strong as a relationship. I guess it's the 38th year. As strong as a relationship, has been over the years. It's even stronger now because Jake Olson is attending USC on a Swim with Mike scholarship. So to have a football player, getting the benefit of one of the, the scholarships for kids that have to fight through physical handicaps to go to college. I mean, I think they're somewhere. Nearing 200 kids that have benefited from these scholarships, and so I guess they raise money obviously by swimming laps, and so I think there are going to be 20 USC football players swimming after the scrimmage. So you can come out and do double duty, catch the scrimmage, and then I think with the scrimmage, the difference will be the coaches aren't going to be on the field. They're going to let them. Call the plays, and they'll do some situational, have full officiating crew, but the coaches won't be in the huddle, won't be on the field with the defense. So it'll look more like a game. I thought they got a lot of scrimmage stuff done today. I thought today was a lot of good work, and I was pleased. I thought today was really positive day, and you like to see that lead into Saturday.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for day 11 of spring camp. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.